Well, sadly, the end is here. And now that the best shark on Shark Tank, Mark Cuban, is gone, let's talk about why the entire cast needs to be rebooted. Because Mark Cuban joined the show in season 2 as a guest shark. He started to fill in for Kevin Harrington. Ironically, the last main shark that left the show, although he was pushed off the show, he didn't quit and leave of his own accord, but Cuban replaced him full time in season 3. And I've watched the show since the very beginning, since the very first episode. I've watched the show more or less every week. It may not be exactly when it airs, but maybe a few days later. I like to think of it as a Sunday night show, even though it's on Fridays now. And I just sort of think it's a great show to watch. Kids don't really watch it, but they can play around you as you watch it. Maybe they pick up some knowledgeable bits and pieces of business. Maybe there's a term, CAC, or return on investment, or something that they don't normally hear in their everyday life. So it could be a good show to watch with the entire family. Maybe not watching it as you're watching it, but around you. It's a good show to eat as you watch, because I find a lot of TV shows are really gross. I mean, it's kind of hard to eat with The Last of Us or The Walking Dead on TV or something like that. So it's a good show to eat. Just kind of relax. You don't have to watch it very closely. The plot's not necessarily, I must pay attention to what's happening in this scene. It's not Severance. But I really love the show, and I do think it's time to replace all the other sharks. Mark Cuban was inarguably the best shark. He's the one all the entrepreneurs would make a deal with. I mean, 95% of the time, if Cuban made a deal, they would go with him over any of the other sharks. And you can understand why, because he literally had to bail Kevin O'Leary out with a $2 million loan, or Kevin O'Leary would have went to jail. Kevin O'Leary cried about this, saying, Mark Cuban saved my ass. I was going to have to go to jail, pay back the money. The government needed my money. Do you want the shark who needs to get bailed out like Kevin O'Leary, or the shark that's bailing him out like Mark Cuban, right? He made better deals than most of the other sharks. He didn't sweat them about valuation. And a lot of the other sharks increasingly look stingier and stingier. There's Damon John, who sleepwalks through season after season. I mean, it's been about 5 years since I really even thought of him as part of the show. Damon himself this season looked quiet. He goes out almost immediately. There's only certain industries he's even interested in making a deal. So when he's on a show and it's like him and Robert as the two other sharks, I think, oh, poor entrepreneurs. Robert Herjavec, nobody wants to make a deal with him if they have any other choices, because he ghosts entrepreneurs. He's just not one of the best ones. And then you've got Kevin O'Leary, Mr. Burns from The Simpsons, and nobody wants to make a deal with him. The reason he started supporting Trump is because he almost went to jail for similar things about not paying back loans. I think when Trump was being indicted and on trial, it really woke him up. It's like, we got to do something about this. $1 billion in America almost going to jail. And this was alarming to him, where he was like, if it could happen to Trump, it could happen to any of us. So nobody really wants O'Leary's crappy royalty deals, which are really a vote of no confidence, because if somebody offers you a royalty deal, they're going to get paid back all their investment. That's worse terms than you'd get from a bank, and he wants it in perpetuity or 10 times over, or whatever it is, and that's really a vote of no confidence. That's saying, I'm going to get paid back my money whether this company works out or not. Half the companies I invest in fail, and rather than lose my $200,000, which on paper he's a billionaire, I'm not sure why it's the priority of an entrepreneur with one business to pay back the billionaire hedge fund guy measly six-figure deal that he made for them. I don't know why that should be the focus of whoever invests with you, and it really shouldn't be. So nobody wants those three sharks for those reasons. Then you have Barbara, who is a really good shark, and people would want to make a deal with her, but she's 76 years old, and I hate to say it, but in the last season, her age was showing. Some of the stuff she said wasn't as clear. She gets frustrated a little bit easier. She's already got about 50 different companies she's invested in. She can't really devote a lot of time to that. Same thing for Lori. Lori's probably now, I guess you would say, the best shark now that Mark has gone, because she's still young enough. She's one of the younger sharks. She still has that fire of wanting to get it done, but she has a very, very limited focus. Year after year, she'll say, well, I love the environment, but she only really makes deals on crappy plastic shit that's horrible for the environment. She has a very specific wheelhouse and focus. There's just not a lot of businesses that she's even going to be interested in if it's not plastic junk she can sell on QVC. Or it really is time to clean house and bring in 5 all-new sharks. I know they've already said that Daniel Lubitsky is going to replace Mark full-time. I guess he's okay, but I really would love to see 5 brand new sharks, and people come in for a season or two. We're going to find out all over again who's the stingy shark, who's the Simon Cowell or Kevin O'Leary shark, who's the nice guy shark, who's the guy that makes the really great deals like Mark Cuban, or perhaps Richard Branson. The 1 or 2 episodes he was on made some great deals, because the ending for Mark was sad on last Friday's episode of Shark Tank. It did make me a little sad to see him go, but then it also made me think, but these other sharks, I have no emotional investment in them, and if they all left tomorrow, it really wouldn't be that big a deal to me, except maybe Barbara. But watching Damon and Robert and Kevin say goodbye to Mark, I thought, yeah, but it really should have been you guys that are leaving instead. Mark should really be the only one staying while you guys leave, but that's not how it worked out. So because Mark will be missed, and because he's a brilliant guy, and because I agree with him more than the other sharks, both politically and economically, it'll be sad to see him go, but there's never been a better time to reboot the entire cast.